We're studying Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, Chapter 3, Text 52. It's March 3rd, 2026. It's Sri Gaura Purnima, the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so this verse that we're reading, it's actually a verse that Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is quoting from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudiraya. Before reciting from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should first offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremose human being, to Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayeshka Bhadreshu Nitram Bhagavata Seveya Bhagavat Yutamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, here on the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya, Adi-lila, Chapter 3, Text 52, Krishna Varnam, Trisha Krishnam, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yadgay, Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti, He, Sumedasaha, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yadgay Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yadgay Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yadgay Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yadgay Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha, Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yadgay Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha,
Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam,
Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam,
Sangopangastra Parshadam,
Sangopangastra Parshadam,
Yadgay Sankirtana Prayer,
Yadgay Sankirtana Prayer,
Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha,
Yajanti Hi Sumedasaha. Would anyone online like to chant the verse? This is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-lila Chapter 3, Text 52, which is also a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, Chapter 5, Text 32. Krishna Varnam.
Krishna Varnam.
Repeating the syllables Krishna.
Repeating the syllables Krishna.
Trisha.
Trisha.
With a luster.
With a luster.
Akrishnam.
Akrishnam.
Not black, golden.
Not black, golden.
Saanga.
Sangan.
Along with associates.
Along with associates.
Upanga.
Upanga.
Servitors.
Servitors.
Astra.
Ashtra.
Weapons.
Weapons.
Parshadam.
Parshadam.
Confidential companions.
Confidential companions.
Yadye.
Yadye.
By sacrifice.
By sacrifice.
Sankirtan Prayai.
Sankirtan Prayai.
Consisting chiefly of congregational chanting.
Consisting chiefly of congregational chanting.
Yajanti.
Yajanti.
They worship.
They worship.
He.
He.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Sumedasaha.
Sumedasaha.
Intelligent persons.
Intelligent persons.
Translation. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Purport by His Divine Grace E.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Just so those online see who's in person and vice versa. Hare Krishna. Okay. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, Text 32. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in his commentary on the Bhagavatam known as the Krama Sandarbha, wherein he says that Lord Krishna also appears with a golden complexion. That golden Lord Krishna is Lord Chaitanya, who is worshipped by intelligent men in this age. That is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam by Gargamuni, who said that although the child Krishna was blackish, he also appears in 3 other colors, red, white, and yellow. He exhibited his white and red complexions in the Satya and Treta ages, respectively. He did not exhibit the remaining color, yellow gold, until he appeared as Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Gaura Hari. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Krishna Varna means Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Varna and Krishna Chaitanya are equivalent. The name Krishna appears with both Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Krishna. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he always engages in describing Krishna, and thus enjoying transcendental bliss by chanting and remembering his name and form. Lord Krishna himself appears as Lord Chaitanya to preach the highest gospel. Varnayati means utters or describes. Lord Chaitanya always chants the holy name of Krishna and describes it also. And because he is Krishna himself, whoever meets him will automatically chant the holy name of Krishna and later describe it to others. He injects one with transcendental Krishna consciousness, which merges the chanter in transcendental bliss. In all respects, therefore, he appears before everyone as Krishna, either by personality or by sound. Simply by seeing Lord Chaitanya, one at once remembers Lord Krishna. One may therefore accept him as Vishnu Tattva. In other words, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna himself. Sangopangastra Parshadam further indicates that Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna. His body is always decorated with ornaments of sandalwood and with sandalwood paste. By his super excellent beauty, he subdues all the people of the age. In other descents, the Lord sometimes used weapons to defeat the demoniac. But in this age, the Lord subdues them with his all-attractive figure as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that his beauty is his astra, or weapon, to subdue the demons. Because he is all-attractive, it is to be understood that all the demigods lived with him as his companions. His acts were uncommon and his associates wonderful. When he propagated the Sankirtan movement, he attracted many great scholars and acharyas, especially in Bengal and Orissa. Lord Chaitanya is always accompanied by his best associates like Lord Nityananda, Advaita Gadadhar, and Srivas. Srila Jiva Goswami cites a verse from the Vedic literature which says that there is no necessity of performing sacrificial demonstrations or ceremonial functions. He comments that instead of engaging in such external pompous exhibitions, all people, regardless of caste, color, or creed, can assemble together and chant Hare Krishna to worship Lord Chaitanya. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam indicates that prominence should be given to the name of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya taught Krishna consciousness and chanted the name of Krishna. Therefore, to worship Lord Chaitanya, everyone should together chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To propagate worship in churches, temples, or mosques is not possible because people have lost interest in that. But anywhere and everywhere, people can chant Hare Krishna. Thus, worshipping Lord Chaitanya, they can perform the highest activity and fulfill the highest religious purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a famous disciple of Lord Chaitanya, said, quote, "The principle of transcendental devotional service having been lost, Sri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared to deliver again the process of devotion. He is so kind that he is distributing love of Krishna. Everyone should be attracted more and more to his lotus feet as hummingbees are attracted to a lotus flower." Hare Krishna. Om Ganatimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayamupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavams Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalalita Shri Vishakantitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshvare Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatiyubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan Ishan Ishavatarikan Tak Prakashams Chatyat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahuditao Gododai Pushpanvanao Chitra Sandao Tamododao. Offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are just like the sun and the moon. They've arisen simultaneously on the horizon of God to dissipate the darkness of ignorance in this age of Kali and to wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Asmad Ekatmanav Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Bedam Gatao Tao Chitan Akyam Prakata Aduna Tatvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Juti Suvali Tam Nomi Krishna Svarupam. The loving affairs of Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani are transcendental pastimes of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. These two identities are one, yet they separated themselves eternally. Now, these two transcendental personalities have again united in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has accepted the complexion and sentiment of Srimati Radharani, although he is Lord Krishna himself. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Panchatattva Makam Krishnam Bhakta Srupa Bhakta Rupa Swupakam Bhaktavatam Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jayatam Suratau Pangor Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarvasa Padamboja Radha Madhana Mohana. Glory to the all merciful Radha and Madhan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything to me. Divyad Vindaranya Kalpajumada Srimad Ratnagara Simhasana Style Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Deva Prastali Sevyamane Smarami. In a temple of jewels, in a forest in Vrindavan, beneath the desired tree, Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer them my respectful obeisances. Sri Madrasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatastita Karshan Venu Staner Gopir Gopinata Shriyestuna. Sri Srila Gopinath, who is the inaugurator of the transcendental mellow of the rasa dance, stands upon the shore at Vamsivat and attracts all the cowherd damsels of Raja with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, Chapter 3, Text 52. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yage Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sume Dasaha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Hare Krishna. So today's Sri Gaura Purnima, the Prince Day of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so it's described, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahayanya. Lord Chaitanya, he's a combined form. You can say he's an incarnation of Krishna. At the same time, it's a different category. He is Krishna. He's a combined, he's Radha and Krishna in one person, in one personality. And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he started the Sankirtan movement. Well, the Sankirtan movement, it's there eternally, it's there in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says Satatam Kirtantu Mam Yatsantas Chadru Davrata Namasyantas Chamam Bhaktya Nichisukthu Pasate. He says the great souls, the Mahatmana, they're always chanting my name. They're always engaged in kirtana. In kirtan, Satatam Kirtantu Mam, same word is here in this verse. Yagir, Yagirs, and Kirtana prayer. So kirtan, okay. And so, you might say the bhakti, the kirtan movement was kind of dormant, and Lord Chaitanya rejuvenated it. He rejuvenated it. And so, yeah, that's in fields in which I have degrees and studied since the 1970s. Actually, yeah, okay, it's like a big field in psychology. A big field in psychology is a measure of intelligence, IQ tests and that sort of thing. So this is the IQ test. Really, this is the IQ test. Actually, the intelligence is probably the trait in psychology that's most precisely measured compared to any other traits, whether stress, depression, happiness, but like the most scientifically measured. Of course, all empirical science is subject to the defects. So it's like, just like there's buddhi, there's intelligence, and it manifests in different domains. There's musical intelligence and mathematical intelligence and emotional intelligence. It's not like there's different intelligence, but there's one intelligence manifesting in different domains. And okay, so the ultimate intelligence, spiritual intelligence, this is truly the IQ test. Okay, the last line of the purport, he is accompanied by his he is accompanied by his associate servants, weapons, and confidential companions. No, I'm going to read the first line. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. So, this is spiritual intelligence. And so, okay, we can note here, Srila Prabhupada citing Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj, the revealer, Chaitanya Charitamrita, citing Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam, this is eternal, but we can say it was transpersonally revealed 5,000 years ago through Srila Vyasadeva. So Srimad Bhagavatam, it's foretelling, it's predicting clearly the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not just here. There's a text, Prabhupada refers to it in the purport. There's a text by Prahlad Maharaj, spoken millions of years ago, where he's foretelling the appearance of the Chana avatar. So in this section of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, in the most authoritative way, he's establishing the veracity and the validity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because, like Krishna is it's somewhat known, and of course, I mean, even going back generations, I remember even when I was in my teenage and early college years, that's like late teens, early 80s, and this is before I was like chanting Hare Krishna. One of my favorite authors, the German author Hermann Hesse, yeah, and I read many books by Hermann Hesse. We even read some excerpts in some of our courses from Siddhartha. I remember one of his books is named Steppenwolf. So I remember I'm like 19, 20 years old reading Steppenwolf, and he references Krishna. One of Hermann Hesse has a book called Journey to the East. So he was like very into the Vedas, as were many of the intellectuals from Europe at that time, Carl Jung and like that. So I remember in the book Steppenwolf, he mentions Krishna. He gives a reference to Krishna in a certain capacity. And so, Krishna. And Krishna, yeah, I go, that's where I get that really good food on Sundays. Yeah, okay, Krishna, yeah, so okay, Krishna. But I never ran into any references to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is, and he's known as like a hidden avatar. Maybe some of you have heard me share in regard to, okay, yeah, so okay, let's go back to me again, even in earlier stage of life, pre-college days, let's say, David Wolf in my mid-teens, maybe 14, 15 years old. And so that'd be the mid-70s. And so this is just a historical remembrance that I bring to illustrate what I think is a very important point. That, so if you asked, and I wasn't into yoga, meditation, spirituality, no, just not. Yeah, and but if you asked me there in the outskirts of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, there in 1975 or so, have you ever heard of Maharishi? I would say, I heard of that guy, some guy with a beard, yoga, something. Have you ever heard of Guru Maharaj? Oh yeah, I heard of that guy. Have you ever heard of Rajneesh? I'm kind of sorry to bring all these names here, but I'm making a point. Okay. Yeah, I heard of this guy. And then if they ask me, have you ever heard of Hare Krishna? I heard of Hare Krishna. Yeah, I heard of Hare Krishna. Yeah, I think that they dress in the yellow, and yeah, okay, I heard of Hare Krishna. And if you ask me, have you ever heard of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada? No, never heard of him. So I see this as relevant. I mean, it's anecdotal. It's not like a rigorous scientific experiment, but it's kind of like a random teenager in suburban Philadelphia, in 1975. Because it represents intention. It represents intention. So for these others, Their intention was to be known. Prabhupada had no intention for Prabhupada to be famous. And his intention was that Krishna's name will be known all over the world, that just even some 15-year-old in 1975 in Pennsylvania knew about Krishna. Why? Because of Srila Prabhupada. Because of Srila Prabhupada. And then my service, my mission is to make Prabhupada known. Prabhupada's name and Prabhupada's mission known. His mission was to make Krishna and Lord Chaitanya known. And I see a way to define my purpose in life is to make Prabhupada's glories known. Because that was not his intention. That was not his intention. Okay. So in this section, so Krishna's Kaviraj goes from, he's giving a lot of authoritative validation for who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so it's Krishna appearing in here towards kind of the start of the 432,000 year Kali Yuga, the first few thousand years, in order to give Krishna consciousness. An example we've given in recent weeks, Prabhupada gives the example of like a teacher teaching a child to write might sometimes hold his hand and say, here's how you write the letters, here's how you write the letters. And so so Krishna says, Sarvadaman Pritya Yamame Kam Sharanam Vraja Am Tvam Sarvapapebhyo Mokshai Shamima Shucha. Be my devotee, give up all these other yagya, we have the term, give up the yagyas, give up the yoga, give up the philosophical process, give up the religion, and just surrender to me. That's they all have their place. That's the goal of all of it. Be my devotee, full devotion. That's the goal of all these paths. And then Lord Chaitanya is coming like, okay, well, here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. So Bhakti Rosemary did a switch here, and she created a change in my whole interior decorating. Okay. So let's Lord Chaitanya. He's chanting Hare Krishna. So it's described. Iti Sudas Kam Nam Nam Kali Kamasanasana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's just in the ancient Vedas. It says in this age of Kali, this is the most recommended, potent, powerful process for transformation. In Safatova, we're all about transformation. It's the most potent process for transformation in this age. And so this is the Vedic authority. Now, this chanting Hare Krishna, it's chanting the names of God. All names of God are potent. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left us 8 written verses. The second verse, Nam Nam Makri Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pitanya Amitas Marine Nakala Etachushi Bhagavan Mama Pitor Deva Medrashami Hajani Nanuraga. It says that the absolute God, the supreme, the divine, the supreme person has unlimited names revealed in so many languages, and all those names are fully transcendental. And then he laments because he's Krishna appearing in the form of a devotee of Krishna. So he's showing us how to do it. He's showing us how. And what is he doing? He's there with his associates chanting Hare Krishna. What's he doing? What's he doing? He's quoting Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita profusely. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, brought around the world, brought around the world by Srila Prabhupada as his Senapati, his empowered general to give this sublime method of Krishna consciousness all around the world. So chanting Hare Krishna, it's always sublime and potent in every age. In other ages, there are other processes that could potentially be effective. In this age, that's why there's that the verse from the Brihad Naradiya Purana. Haranam, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatir Anyata. That in this age of Kali, and it's like emphasis, chanting the name of Hari, chanting the name of Hari, chanting the name of Hari. There's no other way. There's no other way. There's no other way. And so, okay, that could sound, well, that's kind of restrictive and narrow. I assert it's not. It's compassionate and caring. It's compassionate and caring. Just like, okay, let's say we go to the pharmacy. We have a prescription from an expert physician. And we go to the pharmacy, and I can say, there's actually thousands of medicines here, and they're all good. They're all good. I love them all. Okay.
A little bit of each one.
Yeah, a little bit. Yes. Yeah. A little. Thank you, Lakshmi Priya. Yes. Yeah. That's exactly where I'm going here. They're all good. I don't reject any of them. Okay. So let me a little bit, and it's like maybe I'll take 10 of these blue pills and 5. Because they're all good, and there's truth in that they're all good, right? Like they all have a particular use for certain people with certain conditions at certain times in certain dosage. It's taken carefully according to the instructions. Now, one thing, so because it's an analogy, but it's a very appropriate analogy. Now, there are some things that, no, they're not good. Like some things just like any human takes them, they're poisoned, you're going to die in 10 minutes. But there are some things, there are thousands of bona fide medicines. They're all good. But most of them, if I take in certain quantities, they're going to be poison for me in my condition. They're going to be poison for me in my condition. And so they wouldn't be good for me. So then we have this expert, caring, compassionate team of the physician and the pharmacist saying, okay, for you, you take 2 of these 3 times per day, not on an empty stomach, and there's particular directions, and then you'll get healed and cured to full, shining health. Okay, so in the Vedas and any bona fide spiritual literature is Veda. So there are different, like in the Satya Yuga, where persons could meditate for thousands of years, okay, and then get to super soul connection, and everyone was naturally very peaceful and not quarreling over trifle, nothing, petty stuff. These are some of the characteristics of Kali Yuga. Man Payana Parusha Sabya Kalavasmin Yugejana Mandasumanda Mateo Mandabagi Pajuta. Kali Yuga, people quarrel over nothing. On the interpersonal level, on the national level, on the global level. And of course, when I'm in the midst of my petty quarrels, I think they're really important, and the important thing is that you get that I'm right, and of course, but with some perspective, well, maybe I am a resident of Kali Yuga in some ways, you know. Okay, and the people are not spiritually inclined, and we're always disturbed. And then, okay, then as Satya Yuga went on into the next Yuga, then there was like increasingly more disturbance. And then like elaborate deity worship. Because the idea is like in a Satya Yuga type of consciousness, practically everyone is seeing super soul everywhere. So naturally we're going to respect all humans, all living entities, because there's super soul in the heart. We're okay, but then that vision became less. So then, okay, you can see God through the deity worship. Now, in Lord Chaitanya's movement, there is archana, there is deity worship, but it's not the main thing. It's like there's that. I think it was in Australia, and maybe early 70s, 71 or so, because everyone in the movement was new, even those who came in 66. But like the devotees, they were like particularly new. But Srila Prabhupada installed Radha Krishna deities, Radha Krishna Archana worship, which is it's like high level, requires, when I say high level, but it's not high level like Treta Yuga, it's not even one. And then, so he was, so Prabhupada kind of knew, like, yeah, they're not qualified. And he was doing special prayer, like, Shri Radha Krishna, please just like give him some grace here. And at some point, the devotees, because Prabhupada was showing them, you know, the procedures, the rules, regulations, and the devotees were, oh, this is a lot. And Prabhupada said, if I told you all the rules and regulations, you would faint. And even all the rules and regulations are nothing compared to previous. So like, we're just not prepared for that, you know, with some arching like that. And so, so because there was some degradation from Satya Yuga, where people weren't seeing super soul in the heart of all humans, and there was beginning to be some strife, things like that. So, yeah, so in this age, there is no other way. There is no other way. Yeah, we can go into it. It's like these are the expert physicians: Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Krishna, Sri Radha Krishna, Srila Jiva, Prabhupada profusely quoting Srila Jiva Goswami from his Sandarbhas. Sandarbha, huh? Sandarbha, actually, the translation of Sandarbha is tapestry, just like we had a change of tapestry here. Sandarbha means tapestry. Darbha means thread. Darbha means thread. San means bringing all the threads together, So Jiva Goswami, there's the 6 Sandarbhas, and the 7 Sandarbhas, the Krama Sandarbha. We won't get into that too much here, but it's a lot. So basically, it's all intensive, philosophically brilliant commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. And because he's representing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who he's giving us Bhagavatam. He's giving us Bhagavatam. That's Lord Chaitanya's movement, here on Lord Chaitanya's appearance day, chanting Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's why these are the 3 most important literatures Srila Prabhupada gave us: Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana, and then some literatures from the followers of Lord Chaitanya, like Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction. So Prabhupada's giving us Sarva Veda Itihasanam Saram Saram Samudrita, the cream of the Vedic literatures. And so Jiva Goswami, he's bringing all the threads of the Bhagavatam together for our understanding. And then Srila Prabhupada, as our direct, present, living, current link to the Parampara, everything we need to know about Jiva Goswami's teachings, we get from Srila Prabhupada. Everything we need to know about Lord Chaitanya's teachings, we get from Srila Prabhupada. And yes, so then, so it's actually, you know, there's truth and humor. This is the intelligence. This is the intelligence test. Like how much are we giving our life to the Sankirtan movement? In our own cultivation and in sharing with others. And in sharing with Sankirtan means like complete glorification. As Prabhupada described, Kirtan actually means to describe. I'm no linguistic expert, but I wouldn't be surprised if like the English word to write comes from the Sanskrit kirtan. Kirtan, you got the same RT there. It means to describe, to describe. So we're familiar with kirtan, with the kartals and mridanga and harmonium, but more broadly, like if we're if we're accurately representing Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam, that's kirtan. There's the pastime where Srila Prabhupada had arrived at one of his small centers, relatively small, and in the morning he would, through the dictaphone, using technology in Krishna service, he would translate his purports, and in the daytime, one of his students was typing, was transcribing from the dictaphone recordings. And you could hear the typing, old-fashioned typewriter with the manual like that, so you can hear the typing all over the building. So they came to Prabhupada and said, "Oh, is that disturbing for you?" Mm-hmm. And Prabhupada said, "Oh, that typing, that's kirtan. That's kirtan." Because it's sound vibration and service to spread the Sankirtan movement to Om Gyanatimrandasya Gananjana Shalkaya, to bring everyone out of darkness and into the brightness of spiritual intelligence. So any sound vibration, any motion in service in the spirit of bhakti, that's kirtan in the broader sense. And so it's described again in the Bhagavatam. Kalar doshe nide rajan aste kamahad guna kirtana deva krishna sya mukta sangha param rajat. It's in the 12th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a section of Srimad Bhagavatam that describes the characteristics of the different yugas, especially relevant for us. Kali Yuga describes Kali Yuga, an ocean of faults, an ocean of just terrible stuff. But one special, redeeming, amazing quality for Kali Yuga, that simply by kirtan, Kalar doshe nide rajan asti madguna kirtana, simply by kirtan, one gets full liberation from self-deception and the material modes of nature. Kirtana deva Krishna say mukta liberation, mukta sangha, param vrajat. Okay. So I'll cite the verse again. This is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-lila, chapter 3, text 52, which is also a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 11, chapter 5, text 32. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yadgesan Kirtana Prayer Janti Sumedasaha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Hare Krishna. Thanks for hearing Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita here on Sri Gaura Purnima, the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya. I welcome at this time if anyone would like to share any comments, realizations, inspirations, or ask any questions. Hare Krishna.
I'm just gonna let some stuff flow out.
You go. Go wherever you go. Yeah.
There's I host a lot of people, they go to Course in Miracles, they go to the Temple of the Universe, they're going everywhere, but they're right in Prabhupada's house,
Right.
But it's just such a challenge to get them to, if I coded and all that other stuff, at least I can converse with them, and they don't seem to have a problem with me doing it.
Yeah.
But it just always seems like they like that taking a little bit of all the medicines.
Yeah.
It's just so prevalent.
Sure.
It frustrates me, and so I go back and forth, and it's my since I've been in this movement, how much do I spend in that life where everybody's cherry picking? Then, because I'd really like to be in a place where nobody's cherry picking and get serious, and yet everywhere I go, that seems to be. But I don't take it personally, but Prabhupada's house is right next to a church that I'm part of.
Yeah.
And grateful to be part of. And still I see there's not a whole lot of cars over there either,
Right.
you know, on Sunday or whatever night they have their programs. It's hard for them to get people to come out, but I'm just like looking at how I know a lot of devotees who just do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then to try to bring it in and go, look, here's you just said this is all you got to do.
Yeah, that's what
This is simple. And so why do we keep? I mean, it's not. Sometimes I want to like not even know about that stuff. Like I just need to focus.
Yeah.
And then, like even when you were talking about the medicine, I'm thinking, I don't even want to think about the medicine. I just want to keep my body healthy enough where I don't need to ever go to the pharmacy.
Yeah.
And if I do need something, I'm going to try to find a way. I'm not a doctor and dentist person, so I'm not going to go. And probably unless I'm dying, I'm not going to go anyway.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm probably not going to take. And so I'm feeling like a little controversy there, like, oh, maybe I should. So what I'm feeling is just immerse myself in kirtan, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, chanting. Don't eat too much, don't sleep too much. Like do all these things, and it's hard to do. Hard to keep it all in my body that I'm in right now. It's hard to stay that focused. But if I'm trying to, and I have a great platform to do it from, so to speak, I think. You know, probably if I was living in the back bedroom, I'd have a better opportunity. But if compared to most people, I've got a pretty cool setup, you know, just that allows that. And yet, how much of it is like, well, I can't judge everybody. They're all flooding through the house in the neighborhood with all these cherry picking things that they want to talk about and share, and I don't want to hear. And so, but yet I don't want to be blind, like I don't know what's going on in the world. I didn't even know what's going on in the world the other day. I just found out because I went to somebody's house who told me.
Yeah, okay.
And so I don't really know what's going on, and I don't get involved in it because I don't need to play with that. But I don't want to be ignorant and not knowing about the other cherry trees.
Yeah, that's kind of like the balance. Like you don't want to be absorbed in the international affairs or the national economy. Same time, you don't want to be or appear to be like completely ignorant. So you keep in touch with whatever minimal way.
Yeah, one time I hosted a whole group of Course in Miracle people.
Yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 years ago. They were pretty amazing people. I mean, as far as people go, they were very thoughtful and had really nice Krishna type qualities, like devotional people. But they were really into this Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
Like they knew it, and they were practicing it, and they were singing, and they were going around the neighborhood preaching it to whoever. And because it's like Jesus based or Christianish, I don't even really understand it, but people were like, "Oh yeah, come in, you know, let's get together." And so it made me really feel like it's so acceptable on the general populace stuff like that. And yet, if I go door to door, I'm crazy. Like I do go door to door, and it's been a challenge to try to get people to not think I'm crazy, but I don't think they really think I'm crazy, but because it's so different from what they're doing, that when the miracles people were there's a big group of them from Europe. I don't know if I ever told you this, but it was so bizarre. Like one day they did this performance type thing down at the coffee shop where they played music, and they'd taken scripture from the Course in Miracles and made it into music, and a lot of people showed up and donated money. It was this big deal, and I was watching it. And my heart hurt so bad just watching it and observing it and being there. I didn't really want to be there, but I went to support them because they were staying at Prabhupada's house. But when they got back, on the way home, I started crying. Like I was like, this is because it's like Jesus Christian certified. It gets all the doors open, right? So when they came back in the house, there was a television in that house, and we moved in, but we didn't put it there. It was just there, and I didn't even use it. Sometimes I'd have like YouTube or something with my phone, but there weren't any channels or hookups or anything, and I didn't really know how to use it. Well, they figured out how to use it, and they said, "We're going to watch a movie. Can you give us the password or something?" And I said, "Well, what are you going to watch? Because we don't really do that here." You know, I was just immediately was like I don't want like Star Wars or something on downstairs at Prabhupada's house. So I immediately had a reactive response but they had found some technology. We're going to bring something in that I didn't want to support.
It's not the sound vibration.
And so I looked at the group and I said, look, I just went down there and I told them how I was feeling. I said, it hurts my heart that Krishna consciousness isn't this accepted.
You shared authentically.
Yeah. But they said, well, what if we watched the movie about Prabhupada? And they did. They actually did, and we all watched it together. So then I felt better, and I think that they had heard of Prabhupada at a film festival or something. They'd heard about the movie, and then they saw his picture. So they said, "Well, we'll just watch something." So they were very kind like that. We came together, but because I just see so many people, and in Melrose, I get invited all the time to Course in Miracles group gatherings. I'm not going, but if we give up everything, like that verse says, like give up all that, right?
Yeah, abandon all.
There's really the hour that I might spend at Course in Miracles thing, or driving out to Temple of the Universe. Everybody would go if I had that. If I said, okay, get in the car, we're going to Temple of the Universe, they would all come.
Right.
Get in the car, we're going over to Dhira Govinda's to do. They're so it's like there's this. I just don't like the way that feels in my body, and I don't. It's hard for me it's a struggle for me to figure out where I belong in that. And I'm hearing you say, like, again, for the millionth time, I give all that up and just chant and do my thing, and I'm supposed to save my soul. But then here it is. Oh, you're supposed to spread it. You got to. There's all these other people that we have.
Our services. Our services to share.
Yeah. So it's all coming up as I hear you. My IQ test would be really low on the scale of that scale of the university, but it would be high on enthusiasm and really trying every method I can when I'm cooking or sewing or whatever to try to use the tools that I have to do this. So there's an A for effort, but it's hard to keep going up against the wall,
Enthusiasm, that's the foundational quality. Srila Rupa Goswami, some nectar of instruction, Utsanishtadoya Tata Kumravartana, qualities to practice bhakti. The first one is enthusiasm. And so I appreciate, Lakshmi Priya, how you personify devotional enthusiasm in your service to Srila Prabhupada. And it's like, it's kind of like, Srila Prabhupada, for example, a place that's in the news a lot these days is Iran and Tehran, it's in the news. Srila Prabhupada visited there more than once. Srila Prabhupada visited there, and I'm just remembering some of his pastimes there. And of course, he was in Iran in the mid and early 70s, so it was like an open society. In 79 there was the revolution, and then that became what it became. It looks like it might be changing again in the next few months. But so I think a lot of those who came to Prabhupada's programs in Iran was Indian bodied, but also a lot of the Persian who identified as Muslims. And Prabhupada, he wasn't insisting that you chant Hare Krishna. It was like the Yuga Dharma. Nam Namakri Bhata Nijasar. The Yuga Dharma is chant the names of God. You already have names of God. Chant those names of God. And similarly, when he was at a Christian monastery, chant the name of Jesus. So Prabhupada built a house in which the whole world can live. So now, if someone didn't have a particular name of the Supreme, Prabhupada, we have an idea for you. Give him Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And so, there's nothing, as I know you're aware, there's nothing sectarian about this, the Sankirtan movement. And so it's universal, fully non-sectarian. But it gets further if you see someone's cherry picking here and there, and you know that a lot, if not practically all of these cherries, they're going to be maybe useless at best, or maybe even poisonous. But then again, maybe some of the cherries, they're maybe maybe they're aligned, they're chanting names of God. I'm sure that's there in Course of Miracles. For sure it's there in the different Christ-centered traditions. And we can say, okay, so then maybe through our association, through your association, okay, now they have a few cherries called reading something called Bhagavad Gita or chanting one round of japa, and then they're more fully engaged in the Sankirtan movement. And for those, so even one who's dedicated to the Sankirtan movement and practicing sadhana in the spirit of Sri Chaitanya as Krishna showing us how to be a devotee of Krishna, we might also go here and there depending on what our service is. And then the expert, because, as you indicated, our service is not to go to a mountain go to a mountain cave in the Himalayas and chant 192 rounds per day or something. Okay, like when I went to get my graduate degrees in the 1990s, so I'm reading all sorts of things and endeavoring to dovetail it in Krishna consciousness, resulting like in our dissertation on the Maha Mantra, the Vedic personality inventory, psychological personality assessment based on the three gunas. It's described Chaitanya Charitamrita Stavarajan Gama Dekina Deki Taramurti Sarvatra Hayanija Ishtadeva Sporti, that to the degree that a devotional soul develops pure consciousness, then they're realizing Krishna, God, in all of the fruits of the tree, in all of the fruits, in everyone's heart, in every field of endeavor. And then we pray to Srila Prabhupada to get intelligence, that wherever we go, that we get intelligence of how to engage Krishna's energy and Krishna's service. So
it is a good training ground.
it's a training ground.
Yeah, it's a training ground for all the ways to do it. All creative, and I'm creative.
Yeah.
So it's a good training ground. Yeah. And it keeps fertilizing and getting more stable because of the creative process that I'm allowed to do there, and because of just the nature of that house. And so I get better at it every year, and I get cleaner and more refined, and this is just culminating and because it's been a few years, so I'm feeling that.
You're feeling
a lot cleaner with me, and then I've
You're
still
feeling
got
the
all this
potency.
going on.
You're feeling the potency getting more and more potent and strong.
Yeah, I want to follow these instructions, and yet, do I?
Thank you, Lakshmi Priya.
Yes.
Bhakti and Rosemary.
A lot is coming up for me in your sharing. So it was spurred by what you said. We're given this Sankirtan, chanting the holy names, and some people would think that it's restrictive. And I smiled so big because we're sold. I think we're marketed to based on our desire to and our want to be controller, right? So there's 159 flavors of cereal in the cereal aisle, right? There's 32 flavors of ice cream at Baskin Robbins. You try to date and there's hundreds of thousands of people and you can just swipe through. And it's paralyzing. And if we're attached, so the cherry picking isn't necessarily, oh, I've chosen this and this is for me. Like, we support people who, Prabhu was saying, they have the name of God. Awesome. I'm so happy for you. Let me support you. But the cherry picking, what I get, my frustration, my experience is, oh, well, there's 150 and, well, I want to keep my choices open, right? Like, that's the frustrating part is that lack of willingness to know ourselves enough to commit. And when we're attached to being controller and about that will, then we can remain in indecision. 159 things of cereal, I don't know what to buy.
Yeah, I should be able to relate to that.
But meanwhile, here we are, we're given clear instructions. This is healthy.
Yeah.
This is for you. And it can be for anyone, and it's simplicity. It's not restriction, it's simplicity. And similarly, back on, I was reading something about the Amish culture and how, you know, you'd think it's restrictive. They grow up in these communities and there's so many people, and you wind up marrying somebody you grew up with. You'd think, well, you know, isn't that a bit too simple? They have so much satisfaction within their relationships versus in this day and age, again, swiping through hundreds of thousands of people, and there's no satisfaction, there's no relationship.
Wow.
Simplicity creates that satisfaction to have smaller choices, and I prefer the simplicity now from having experienced it. But before, yeah, I was in that category of people like, no, I want my choices, right? Like, I want to have all these choices, and it was terribly dissatisfying. And going back to the qualities of a devotee: enthusiasm, patience, confidence.
Yeah.
Right? And enthusiasm, Prabhupada says, is endeavor executed with intelligence.
Correct.
What's intelligence? Intelligence is knowledge taken to make distinction. Right? And so the point of distinction is commit to a portion, right? Not this big open situation. So
Yeah.
with enthusiasm in your endeavor, I get you have intelligence and distinction in your service.
Yeah, I think when I hear that verse from chapter 18 over and over, I just get all that, like, I'm like, am I entangling myself by all this, like, just feels like, I feel like that a lot, like, just focus on what you know is true for you, and I'm completely committed with complete conviction, and I don't need to go do all that, but I live in a place where that is very prevalent, so I'm just trying to navigate how to do my job, my duty, my occupational duty well, and stay. Yeah, it's simple.
So satisfying.
Yeah, and I'm like you. I like choices and variety and texture. And, yeah.
Thank you, Bhakti and Rosemary. I appreciate your points and your analogies there. Yes. Yeah. So I'm reminded of the analogy of we can dig many shallow wells, and then there's the digging a deep well. And this Prabhupada uses that metaphor for a reason. A string of zeros, and then the one gives value. So it's not about rejecting the zeros, but putting the one in front. And so Srila Prabhupada, representing Srila Jiva Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha Krishna, he's giving us, like, here is medicine and a diet. You know, we got prasadam, we got the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that all parts of life, all parts of life shine in colorful variety. And to the extent that we're not connected with a deep well, then in the name of course, there's always choice, but just like in any field, right? It's like, okay, well, I can take a smatter here, a smatter here, and then I never commit to anything, and I never get the fulfillment of becoming expert, of becoming expert. Prabhupada, he says, he quotes, I think some English writer says that Prabhupada said it's good to know everything about something and something about everything, so that a devotee is aware and is knowledgeable and is expert and is immersed in excellence in bhakti. I know myself, like, for example, I read books from different places. At the same time, my reading is always focused on reading all of Srila Prabhupada's books over and over and over and over again, and then my endeavor in this process to cultivate intelligence is whatever I hear, whether it's about the war, whether it's about whatever I'm hearing at the post office or in a coaching session, whatever I hear, I'm endeavoring to realize it and process it through the pure lenses of Srila Prabhupada. That's what it means. Srila Prabhupada's our current direct link to the Parampara. And then if that's not there, then by going to this fruit and that fruit, we're probably just adding to our confusion. And if that's there, that wherever I go, I'm going to process it through Srila Prabhupada's Siddhanta, then wherever we go, we become a touchstone for Sankirtan transformation.
That's a really good point. Sometimes I have my phone with me, and when people get into their philosophy, I just put it in the phone and go turn where's the bhakti connection, because I just can't hear what I have a hard time. I just want to push it away. But if I put it in Google or ChatGPT and go, well, what is this? What would Prabhupada say it to this? Or what scripture should I go to kind of bring it back? And if I can digest that a little bit and then go back to that person and sort of then the conversation. So that's one of the good things about having the phone kind of in your hand all the time, like we do these days. Yeah, having a little resource, because I don't have the knowledge, the depth of knowledge to do that all the time by myself.
Thanks for that. Any other comments or questions or realizations? As I think you might be aware, so this late afternoon, evening, I'm hosting another program in honor of Sri Gaura Purnima, the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 5 to 8:30. So 5 o'clock, Kirtan, and this is in person. It'll be in person in the afternoon evening program, also online. Kirtan, and then Naveen Krishna Prabhu, he has agreed to lead class and discussion. We expect class and discussion to begin around 5:45 p.m. And then after that, more Kirtan, then Prashad. Okay, before we close, any other comments?
Makes me think of the 4 regular principles of freedom.
Yeah, freedom, right, yeah.
I just get this as giving us freedom, and that's it.
Thanks for that. Yeah, that's I think a perfect reference. Chapter 2, text 64, Bhagavad Gita. Krishna talks about the regular principles of freedom. So we can go, but that's, I want to have choices. I want to have choices. So then kind of, it's like, I don't want to be, I'm fearful that if I commit 100%, then I won't have choices. Okay, so then basically your life, you're allowing yourself to be controlled by fear of commitment. How's that working for you? Sure, yeah, we don't want to be a slave to some narrow thing, and at the same time, to achieve anything substantial in any life area, that requires unbreakable commitment. And so, whether it's a science, an art, a sport, communication, it's like, I'm going to commit to avoid roadblocks and engage with empathy. And so in spiritual life and self-realization, if we're just dabbling here and there because I don't want to commit because I'm too spiritual, we probably aren't going to get very far. We're not going to get just like in any field. And so Srila Prabhupada's encouraging us, commit to the Sankirtan process and notice possibilities opening up beyond your wildest imagination.
That's true.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Very good.